Bet you didn't think you'd see us again. Welcome back to the Hurdle Podcast 2.0.
The reboot.
The reboot, the comeback season, the we're back, the Jordan season, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, welcome back to the Hurdle Podcast. I guess why we're making this video. We're planning on bringing the podcast back. We've been talking for the past couple weeks. Obviously, big picture, wish we would have brought it back during football season last year. But, you know, timelines, adjusting to new stuff, college-wise, just didn't really align within either of our schedules or just our lives at that point. And not really that it still does. I mean, we're still super busy, but
yeah,
we're going to find time for it because this is something we enjoy.
And we find time for it anyways.
Exactly. Well, we find time for it anyways. Anytime we go to dinner, we're there for 2 hours talking about sports. The only difference is we have a camera in front of us. Like, that's truly the only difference. So, yeah, we're back. This episode, we're just going to lay out content. That's what Bailey's got lined up. And then we'll just go from there. So, Bailey.
Yeah. This is kind of just like a breakdown episode. Kind of just like why we're coming back, stuff like that. And more importantly, what we're going to do while we're back.
Especially differently.
Yes, especially differently. So, Milo, we're talking, like you said, for a few weeks. And we decided we'd come back, but we were going to restructure some stuff. So the first thing that we came to a conclusion on was shorter podcasts.
We're not the Pat McAfee show.
No, we're not live broadcasting anything. It's basically, I went back and listened to a couple of them. Some of them, like the first draft one that we did, like right at the tail end, but right before we quit the last time.
When we thought Sauce Gardner would be at 13 to the Vikings.
Yeah, when we thought Sauce Gardner was going to the Vikings and all that jazz. Or when he was rumored to go to the Vikings. Still wish that was true. But right around that time, we had that video, and that video is 3 hours long almost. It was hefty. So we've made a rule for ourselves. We're thinking 90-minute podcasts, 90 minutes and under, and we're going to try and stick to it as hard as we can. I think it's just the best for not only runtime purposes to keep your attention, but we wanted to really cut the fat off some of these episodes, and we thought this was the best way to do that in one of the first steps. The second idea we had is kind of just more preparation going into each episode from our end. That also cuts down on the blubber and the runtime that I just mentioned. And we kind of wanted to restructure how we do things. Some of the episodes are going to look a lot different. Like we had some NBA podcasts with Avery, who is in line to come back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Might be a surprise to him after watching this. But
exactly.
We're going to try and get him back and do some NBA stuff again. But the entire center of that is not just going to be going game by game and listing off scores. You guys can go read the ESPN app or SportsCenter and read the bottom line across the screen. Exactly. You guys can read scores and read stat lines. That's not what we're here to do, and that's not what we want to do. So where you've scrapped that entire system, we're going to go into a system where it's all about headlines, so just giving our takes on specific headlines, more like a first take undisputed kind of show, but it's not just going to be all debating, yelling in your ear, stuff like that. You're allowed to agree on this show. So
yeah, we're not here for ratings like that.
If we were, we would be doing too hot. So that was the second kind of main idea that we have coming into this, was just a whole new restructure, not a rebrand, just a restructure of the entire show and nailing it down. So and now I want to get into what we're going to do for the next couple weeks here. So it's going to be 2-3 episodes a week. We're going to do baseball. That's going to be me and Nick, who we're bringing back from the Empty Net, which YouTube actually never saw. That's all Spotify exclusive stuff. If you want to throw yourself back and go listen to 2-year-old hockey podcasts. But we're bringing him back. He's going to do some baseball stuff, and then I'm bringing a buddy of mine on who I will announce in the first baseball podcast.
TBD.
Yeah, TBD. And then we're going to be doing some NBA playoff stuff. We're going to go round by round. So once the first round, we're going to get the coverage of the first round. We're going to go through the entire bracket, our picks, and then once the first round is over, we'll recap, look ahead to the second round, and that'll be the next podcast for that. And then we'll go in through there, and we'll maybe do 1 or 2 NBA offseason stuff. We'll cover all the big moves, the basics, stuff like that. Same thing with the NFL.
Yeah, exactly.
Offseason. It's going to go the exact same way. And then NFL-wise, you can expect from us mock drafts. We're thinking 3 of them.
Maybe more.
Potentially more. 3 is the minimum, though, that we're going to try and get to before April 29th, 26th, 8th?
It's around there.
Somewhere in there.
27th.
27th, thank you. 27th. One of those 20 numbers.
End of April.
Yeah, end of April. So we're going to try and get 3 videos. This video will be coming out the 16th, so expect at least 3 mock drafts in the next 11 days, minimum. And based on interaction, we might live stream the draft ourselves, so you can guys get some live reactions. We'll see kind of how the interaction with you guys is going, and if we'll maybe throw up a poll or something to see if you guys actually want it and would tune in. So not only it's worth your time, it's also worth our time. But yeah, summer's gonna be a little inconsistent, just because we're gonna have jobs and things like that.
Yeah, like I will be here in Bozeman. Bailey will be back home
in Washington.
So like, who knows what that content's gonna look like? Because who knows what the summer's gonna look like? Because pretty much after the NFL draft, there's not a ton of football stuff, unless there's a signing like Rodgers finally gets traded, or like there's an injury in OTAs, and then basketball will be winding down. So basketball will be a little less. Baseball will be in its full swing, no pun intended. So then it's kind of like what fills the gap. And we had some really good ideas before the podcast kind of just ended. It's going to be more tier stuff, like ranking stuff, like our favorite Maddens, or, we rank quarterbacks, or like all-time quarterbacks, like stuff like that, to just keep the content going, nothing too crazy. And then once, NFL starts picking up, it'll be we make our picks, we react, and the same deal with college.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to bring some different content to you guys over the summer, see if you guys like it, and just kind of transition smoothly, because we have all those ideas. It's funny enough, the time we're starting up now is the time we quit last year. So we're kind of just picking back up from where we left off just 1 year in advance. So we're going to try to make this as smooth as possible for you guys, as smooth as possible for us. And we're going with a quality over quantity kind of strategy this time. So less podcasts, shorter podcasts, but more diverse, strict, and actually applicable content that we think you guys will enjoy and find worth your time.
Exactly. So hopefully you're going to be seeing this first, most likely then the NBA episode that we're going to probably record right after this, if we're being honest. But that's what to expect on the 16th, this upcoming Sunday. And then after that, baseball will be recorded sometime next week, probably posted next 2 weeks.
At least, at the minimum.
Yeah, and then once playoffs end for basketball, this round, second round stuff, and then we'll throw in mock drafts there. And again, the minimum's 3. We might try crazy stuff. I know we're just doing, I think the first one's going to be just what us agreed upon kind of a draft. One with crazy outlandish trades, like maybe a team moving up to 2 for Anthony Richardson. And then the third, or at least the last one, will be like our finalized one for the Hurdle podcast. We might throw one in there where we like alternate picks, so we don't know where it's going. So you kind of have to think on the fly. That would be another one we maybe add, or maybe we go team specific. Bailey's a Vikings fan, I'm a Cowboys fan. Maybe we do 7 rounds of
just our 2 teams.
Just our teams, like team needs. Like as you go down the board, get into some names you might not recognize. So it should be fun. It's an exciting time. It definitely is an exciting time. Again, we've been talking about this, bringing it back. And I think was now the time where we get content recorded, pumped out, and then we see how the end of our school year goes with finals and stuff, and then transition into that summer stuff. So it's going to be a fun transition, and I hope you stick along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope you guys enjoy, and that's just our little recap on what we wanted to update you on. So we're back. Bailey, Logan, pleasure.